Working on a 2011 Hyundai Elantra, and today we're looking to replace a crank positioning sensor. This vehicle's been having a hard time trying to stay alive, and the check engine light is kicking a crank sensor. So it looks like it's a 4-cylinder, and according to this, it's showing to be a 1.8 liter. So looking for the crankshaft, usually it's around the harmonic balancer or the crank pulley. That's on the passenger side of this vehicle, but on this one, the crank sensor is actually located towards the center, directly in between the motor and transmission. So today I went ahead and I've got to import direct. There's your part number, 18-2470. All right, so as you can see, there's your sensor. You got a little O-ring that's on there. A connector that actually gets pushed in somewhere, so you're gonna have to squeeze the old one out. And then there's your electrical connector. So this is going to be a 10 millimeter bolt. So you're going to need a 10 millimeter socket deep and a small ratchet. That's a 1/4-inch ratchet. Go ahead and get this part installed. Watch out now. This is also a magnet, so try not to let it drag any metal particles with you when you go to install this. Yeah. All right, so here's your cooling fan, and you're gonna find this little guy right here. Go directly in front of it, actually, and there it is. So your oil filter's right here, and there's your crank sensor right there. Got the little wire that comes out. Now trying to squeeze that right there, that's gonna be difficult. It'll give you a lot of room. You can probably remove the bracket. That's a 10 millimeter bolt right there that's holding it. Once you break it loose, you can pretty much probably use your fingers and remove the bolt. Remember, these bolts are not torqued down with a significant amount of torque. I mean, this bolt right here is probably 89 inch-pounds, I bet you. Not a lot. Before I pull that guy, I want to make sure I disconnect the harness on him. It goes way up here. So let's look at that sensor, or the connector. So it looks like you gotta squeeze him. And then he's actually also, you see the metal bracket behind it? So that new connector is gonna have to sit on that bracket. We've got to slide it upwards, then squeeze that little tab at the end where those green and black wire is. It's in a very tight area. They'll give you a lot of room to play with. So I need to squeeze this little tab right here. All right, so I use both my hands to do it. So I squeeze that little tab, pull them out, and there it is. Simple as that. And there's the old one right there. So it's probably a good choice to go ahead and wipe it down. Where is it at? There it is. Let's go ahead and wipe them down before we stick the new one in there. Hole should be right here somewhere. There it is. Once you have them in there, make sure you kind of push it down equally, and you'll hear it click. And then grab that little bolt. Go ahead, pop them in there. Now you could go ahead and torque it down. All I'm going to do is snug, which is really, really small. I'm just going to snug it with the little tool I have here. It didn't take me much to break it off. Didn't take me a lot, guys. You'll snap that bolt if you put too much torque on it. So after I do that, I'll run the wire back up here. And remember, look at the back of the connector. See how it's got this little groove deal right here? Remember that deal I was telling you at the top? It locks in there. You got to do the same. Once you hook it back together, you got to run it back down. Once you hear a click, then you're good. Then you can find that bracket and pop it back on there. So, let's see. Where's the bracket at? There it is. See that deal? You gotta make sure you pop that plastic piece back on there. Usually if you don't do that, then you have a possibility of your wiring rubbing against something it doesn't need to be rubbing up against. Start cutting into it. That's it. That is it. So it's back on there. Just slides right back on there. There you are. It's right back home. New sensor installed. Now we could go ahead and remove the jack stands and place it back on the ground. Vehicle back on the ground. It should be ready to roll with the new part installed. Now the fault I was having before installing that was the vehicle would just die. So I got the new part installed. Now the check engine light usually takes, oh, perfect. Yeah, before the part was installed, it would just turn over, and you have to give it gas before it was able to start. But this one just fired right up, and that's what you're looking for. The check engine light should probably turn off in about 15 minutes of driving it, unless you have a code reader and you force it to reset. But anyhow, that's it on the installation of the crank positioning sensor on this Hyundai Elantra. If you guys liked my video, please hit the like button. If you guys like to follow me, please hit the subscribe button down below. And as always, thanks for watching.